There's one Korean word that in 2015 carried the rage of an entire generation. Baepsae, officially translated as silver spoon, sometimes called crow-tit, a small plain bird. But in real Korean usage, when someone calls you a bopsy, they're insulting you. They're saying you don't belong here. You're too small. You're trying to act like something you're not. And you're going to break yourself trying. BTS took that insult, made it the title of a song, and spent 3 minutes and 50 seconds turning it into a middle finger to the system that created it. This is not just another breakdown. This is the moment the series gets angry. We've gone through No More Dream. Do you even have a dream? And no, who took it from you? Danger. What happens when someone doesn't value what you give? Baepsae answers all of those questions with one word. The game was never fair, and we've known it this whole time. This is video 4 of BTS Says Something. Let's get into it. To understand this song, you need to understand what South Korea felt like in 2015. Because without context, Baepsae sounds like a banger with great choreography. With it, it sounds like a declaration of war. Two phrases dominated everything that year, and both of them ended up directly inside this song. Joseon was Korea's last dynasty, a rigid feudal system that ran from 1392 to 1897. Your birth determined your class. Your class determined your entire life. Social mobility was essentially impossible. In 2014 and 2015, Korean young people started to call their own country Hell Joseon. The message was clear and brutal. Modern South Korea feels exactly like feudal Joseon. The wealth gap is locked in. Your parents' money determines your education. Your education determines your career. Your career determines your income. And if you started at the bottom, no matter how hard you work, the structure makes it nearly impossible to climb up. The term exploded. Usage increased more than 20-fold on Korea's social media between 2014 and 2015. The Washington Post ran a story in January 2016. Young South Koreans call their country hell and look for ways out. This was not a fringe. This was a generation's defying cry. You know the English phrase, born with a silver spoon in your mouth? Korea took that concept and built an entire class hierarchy around it. Gold spoon, born rich, doors open automatically. The system was built for you. Silver spoon, upper middle class, strong head start, connections, schools, access the lower classes never see. Bronze spoon, regular middle class, working for it, but with some foundation under your feet. Dirt spoon, everyone else, no safety net, no network, no inheritance, born at the bottom and told that effort is the answer. While the gold spoons walk through doors that never open for you, regardless of how hard you run. And there's a fifth level emerging, diamond spoon. For the ultra wealthy, so far above even the gold spoons, they exist in a completely separate world. Now, here's what makes the spoon class theory devastating. It's not just about wealth. It's about the lie that comes wrapped with poverty. The lie, your spoon doesn't matter. Work hard, and you can be anything. Study for the sun young, get into sky, give everything you have. The system is unfair. Korean young people in 2015 were saying loudly, collectively, that the lie is a lie. The spoon you're born with determines everything. In the older generation telling you to just work harder, they were handed everything by a system they never had to question. BTS didn't just join this conversation. They named it on an album with their names on it. That is the world Baepsae was released into. November 30th, 2015. Track 6 on The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2. And they were not speaking from the outside. They were the dirt spoon. From a company that had nearly gone bankrupt. From a group the industry had been dismissing since their debut. They wrote this from inside it. The title was doing three things at once. One, the bird. The Baepsae is a small Korean crow tit. Short legs, small body, unremarkable. And there is a Korean proverb. If a crow tit tries to walk like a stork, it will tear its groin. The stork has long legs. Every stride is effortless. The crow tit, trying to keep up, overextends and breaks itself. In the Korean culture, this proverb is used as a warning. Know your place. Don't try to be what you're not. If you were born with short legs, trying to walk like someone with long legs is your fault when you fail. 2. The class system. The international title Silver Spoon connects to the spoon class theory, but BTS is not the silver spoon. They are explicitly the dirt spoon, the ones the system was never built for, the ones the proverb is used to keep in place. 3. The insult reclaimed. Put all three layers together, the bird told to stop trying, the class system that locks you in, the proverb used to gaslight the people at the bottom. The song title was BTS saying, yes, we are the Baepsae. We know what you call us, and we're going to walk like a stork anyway, even if it breaks us. That's the whole song in one word, before a single beat drops. Baepsae was written by RM, Suga, J-Hope, and P-Dog. And the three rappers divided architecturally. Each one takes a specific piece of the argument and makes it undeniable. Suga opens. The way to live well in this world is to be born with the right parents in the right family, with the right access, not to work hard, not to study, to be born. Suga is not just being cynical for the sake of it. He is naming what Korean young people in 2015 had collectively realized and were being told not to say out loud. The system is not a meritocracy. Effort does not equal outcome. The people who tell you just to work harder already have the gold spoon. They can afford to believe effort is enough. Then the pivot, hitting the reality that effort alone can't do it. Still, I stand before it again. That tension, knowing the game is rigged and showing up anyway, is the emotional center of Suga's verse. He doesn't promise the system changes. He doesn't tell you that the crow tit grows long legs. He says, I know, and I'm still here. That is not resignation. That is defiance with full information. 3 lines, 3 separate gut punches. Taeyang means a repetitive traditional folk chant, something sung over and over until it loses all meaning. RM is saying that the older generation turned effort into a mantra. Just work harder, just try more, as if repeating the word enough times makes a rigged game fair. Effort became a weapon, used to gaslight every young person who asked why the system wasn't working for them. The height metaphor. Height here is privilege. The stork's long legs. If even for 1/100th of a second your legs were longer, if you had even the most smallest inherited advantage, you would feel how radically different the world is. The gap doesn't just exist, it compounds. The longer the legs, the faster the stride, the further ahead you get with the same effort. The crow tit isn't losing because it's lazy. It's losing because the race was designed for the storks. Throw that to the dogs. Ganai Jubio Ryo, an aggressive Korean slang idiom meaning something is worthless, trash, useless. RM is saying conversations about fairness in a system structurally designed for gold spoons are not just naive, they're insulting. Don't talk to me about fairness in a race where you started a mile ahead. This is a 21-year-old rapping about structural inequality, generational privilege, and the weaponization of the word effort on a K-pop album in 2015. That is not normal. That's courageous, and that's why Rap Monster stands out. Two words: Hell Joseon, Dirt Spoon. J-Hope drops them both in 4 syllables, and the entire cultural weight of 2015 Korea lands in the room. Nobody in K-pop was doing this. These were not metaphors. These were not poetic images. These were the exact words Korean young people were using in protests, on social media, in conversations about feeling trapped in a system that told them their position was their own fault. Running and running again. It feels like I'm in the same place. The treadmill. The rigged game made physical. Maximum effort. Minimum movement. Because the system wasn't designed for short legs. You run twice as fast as a stork, and you stay in place while the stork glides ahead with half the effort. J-Hope's delivery here sounds like someone actually running. Desperate, kinetic, out of breath, and still going. He's not describing the exhaustion. He's embodying it. Then the close. We will change. We can't live like you. Not, we will accept this. Not, we will work harder and maybe someday we will change. We cannot live like you. The promise of rebellion. The crow tit refusing to keep pretending the proverb is wisdom. The proverb is a tool of control, and they are done. We need to talk about the choreography because it is one of the most intentionally provocative performance choices in BTS's whole catalog, and almost nobody explains what it's actually saying. The synchronized hip thrusts and Baepsae look like pure hype energy, and they are, but they're also a specific message. In Korean protest culture, a physical gesture directed at authority has existed for generations as nonverbal defiance. We don't respect your system. We don't bow to your rules. And we're not afraid of you seeing us say so. The hip thrust and Baepsae, performed in unison, directed outward, is the physical embodiment of Baepsae. Throw that to the dogs. We are not performing submission. We are not bowing. We are standing here in public and daring the system to say something about it. 7 young men from a company the industry dismissed, performing synchronized defiance toward every gold spoon that ever told them to know their place. On music shows, on national television, in front of cameras that broadcast to the entire country. That is not just choreography, that's a statement. And the fact that all 7 of them are doing it together matters even more. The system wants to isolate you, tell you that your situation is individual, your fault, your failure, your short legs. When all 7 of them do it in unison, it becomes collective. You can't blame one Baepsae for having short legs when all 7 are all walking like storks at the same time. Here's the layer that makes the song different from every other social commentary track released in 2015. BTS were not speaking about spoon class theory from the outside. They were the dirt spoon. Their company had nearly gone bankrupt during the trainee years. Suga delivered packages in the rain with a torn shoulder to afford tuition. RM built his reputation underground, while Sky students got industry connections handed to them. They debuted to 760 copies sold in a week, while Big Three acts launched with full media placement, guaranteed radio play, and industry infrastructure built specifically to support them. The K-pop industry ran on its own spoon system. SM, JYP, YG, Gold Spoon. Big hit in 2013, Dirt Spoon. And the industry told them to know their place. Every line in Baepsae about running that keeps you in the same place, they had lived it. Every line about the gold spoon walking through doors that never opened for you, they had stood outside those doors. This is not commentary. This is testimony. This is their actual life. And by November 2015, 2 years into their career, with HYYH starting to break through, they had just enough of a platform to say it publicly on an album with their names on it. Baepsae was released as a performance video rather than a traditional concept music video. And that choice itself was a statement. There's no elaborate metaphor to decode, no hidden narrative, just 7 people performing this song with everything they have. Just because the words are the concept. The song doesn't need decoration. What the performance video gives you is the energy, a controlled aggression you don't see anywhere else in that HYYH catalog. The school bus rebellion of No More Dream, the cinematic sadness of I Need You, the reckless abandon of Run, Baepsae has none of that. This is deliberate, precise. Every movement is a point being made. The camera work captures the group, not the individuals. This is a collective statement. When they do the synchronized movements together, the message is reinforced. This anger belongs to everyone, each of us. This is not one person's short legs. This is a generation. Here's what this song proves. BTS were not a K-pop group that happened to say some meaningful things. They were writers who happened to be in a K-pop group. And the difference between those two things is the difference between every other group in 2015 and this song. Most groups were not putting out Hell Joseon and Dirt Spoon into their lyrics and performing it on national TV. Most groups were not taking the insult the industry used against them, Crow-Tit, Know Your Place, and turning it into a title of an anthem. Baepsae proved that your specific experience is your most powerful artistic material. They didn't write about generational rage in the abstract. They wrote about it from the inside of it, using the exact vocabulary their generation was using to name its reality. And every Korean young person who heard those 2 words, Hell Joseon, Dirt Spoon, and a major album felt seen. The thing that they were told not to say on the record now had 7 names attached to it. It's moments like that that truly proves why BTS is who they are today. They always took the time and the opportunity to do things that others didn't choose to do, but needed to be done. No More Dream asked, "Do you even have a dream?" And O asked, "Who took it from you?" Danger asks, "What happens when someone doesn't value what you give?" Baepsae says, "The game is rigged. We know it. We're running away, and we refuse to apologize for our legs." Black Swan asked, "What if you pour everything into your art and lose the feeling?" The series started with a question about dreaming. Then who stole it? Then what happens when love fails you? And now, the system itself gets named. The Crow-Tit looks the stork in the eye and says, "We see your legs. We see the doors. We see what effort really means when you start ahead. And we are done pretending that the proverb is wisdom." That is Baepsae. That is the Korean word that contains an entire generation's rage. Drop it in the comments. Have you heard of the spoon clash theory before this video? Did you know what Hell Joseon meant? I want to know, because this song hits differently once you know what you're listening to. And if someone you know needs this explained, share this video to them, because that's what they're here for. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers, you guys. So please subscribe hit that bell, like this video, and even hit that hype button because it also helps this video get into people's faces that might not have got a chance to see it before that. Every one of those signals tells the algorithms to put this video in front of more people who need to hear it. Like, comment, and subscribe. We are the Rotten Rose family. Not a comment goes unnoticed. I really appreciate you guys for watching. It's your guy, RottenRoseQ, and I'm out of here.